Hello.
Hey up, folks.
Everybody. I hope you've had as good a weekend as we've had.
We've had an awesome weekend, haven't we?
Absolutely fantastic. Loved every minute of it. Saturday was the fourth round of the Preston Innovations pole fishing pairs, which Matt and I run along with some of our friends, wasn't it?
Yep, held at Woodlands View near Droitwich and Mayville Arford Lakes. And Thomas, you was at Woodlands, weren't you?
I was. I drew peg 10 on Arles, a lake I fished once before, to my memory. Obviously, the pole pairs, it's worth just clarifying. Pole only, so you can't fish a waggle or a feed or anything like that. Carp don't count, F1s do count, and silverfish count. So you've got quite a specific brief. You're fishing for F1s and silverfish, basically, on the pole. So, you know, it is nice in that respect. It sort of limits the number of things you can do.
Pellets aren't allowed as well, so it's natural bait only, isn't it?
It is. And my plan was, I thought, well, I know there's a lot of skimmers in here, because when I fished there before, I think I won the section with 28 pounds or 26 pounds, something like that, of skimmers. So I know there's a lot in there. So they were my main target. And I decided to feed some little balls of lead with some joker in and fish bunches of bloodworm over the top early on. But I was dead cautious about how much I fed, because the bottom at Woodland View is very soft. It's a very, very old commercial fishery. And it's really silty, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I didn't want to go piling a load of bait in and then end up with a million bubbles.
You see them fizzing, don't
you? I did quite well in the summer there a couple of years ago, and all we were doing then was fishing like a top kit and feeding 2 and 3 pellets and catching one and then moving and feeding 2 and 3 again. It was John Arthur who sort of put me onto the method, and it's so right there. And I wanted to sort of, copy that in a way, but adapt it for silverfish.
Right.
So that was my attack on the long pole. I wanted to loose feed some casters over the top with the aim of obviously drawing fish in, and hopefully later in the day I thought if I can just push it past where I fed my joker, I might catch some better fish on a strung rig, some bigger F1s, maybe some skimmers, fishing past my bait loose feeding casters. But the other line, I mentioned then obviously in the summer that I've caught a lot of fish feeding little bits of bait, but what I did when that was working, I started off really short and worked my way out. And Joker has told me that once he caught a load of quality silvers there, just feeding maggots on like a top 4, it was gin clear in the middle of winter as it was on Saturday. So I thought I'll give that a try as well. I fed a line with maggots on the top 4. And again, the bottom was a little bit firmer there. And to cut a long story short, I've had a lovely match. I've caught some lovely skimmers, roach, odd F1 and bunches of bloodworm. It wasn't great though, but it wasn't great for anybody. I had a brilliant peg for peg battle with Johnny Freeball, who was on the peg to my right. Lovely lad, Johnny.
Good angler. Awesome angler.
Brilliant. We had a good bit of banter as well through the day, as you do. But nobody were really bagging. I could see from what I could see in my section, quite close. And then Johnny started to catch well. He's fed more positively. He's fed quite a lot of bait, and he started catching really well. I thought, I've got to up the ante here. So I went past my stuff with casters, and I caught a couple of great big skimmers, a couple of perch. I thought, yes, we're clawing back here. And luckily enough, that close line came good as well. The one I mentioned, the fed with maggots. I say you wouldn't have thought it would work. You honestly wouldn't. It was gin clear. But I actually caught a big bream on it and some better roach on it as well. Just gave me a chance to rest the longer line as well.
Not a lot of people had fished there, would they? Middle of January, freezing cold, and you're catching on just a top 4 down the edge.
Well, it was spot on. It was so strange. Obviously, you couldn't take a load of fish off it. It's just a matter of dropping in on lines. Seeing if you catch a couple, if you don't get a bite, come off it and keep feeding it. And that's what it was like. But unfortunately, my 20, I think I didn't have 20, I had 17 pounds, 17 pound 8, something like that.
That was exaggerating then, wasn't
Stop
that?
it.
That were exaggerating for camera.
Got me sent a bit confused. Everybody get £17. Was good enough for second in the section. John beat me.
Well done though, good performance, mate.
Well, it was, but John fished a bit different. He fed a bit more positively, and he caught some quality skimmers. Now, I was umming and ahhing after the match whether I'd have caught better doing the same, but talking to a few people, it does sound like maybe slightly more fish down to the right where he was, because it's a bit more open water down there, so he got a lot more water to draw fish from. But I'm not saying that I wouldn't have caught more doing that, It was interesting. Right. I would be interested to go and try fishing that way. But yeah, second in the section, not a bad result. How was your day?
I had a lovely day's fishing, mate. I were at Larford. I drew peg 62 on the Specie, middle of the far bank. I'll not keep everyone for a long time, but I basically went down a sort of one-line approach. It's a big, massive lake, Specimen Lake at Larford, full of bream and skimmers, and I thought I'm going to feed a lot of bait on one line and just wait for them to start grazing. And what I wanted to happen was probably not catch a lot to start with, and hopefully it'd just get better and better and better as the day went on. I did actually feed a little bit of bait short for some roach, just to start on. But I only caught 4 in the first hour on it, 4 little roach. When I've gone out of my stuff, 14.5 metres, I cooked in 20 odd little balls of Lehman ground bait, loads of baiting, joker, casters, dead maggots. And I caught a few, and it wasn't really good until sort of the last hour and a half, and then the bream have come in, arrived on it, and I've ended up catching some big uns, 4 5 pound fish. Had a big hybrid.
5 pounders?
I had one that must have been 5
Really?
pounds. I thought it were a carp when I hooked it. Some big hybrids and odd big roach. Lovely last hour and a half's fishing. And I ended up with £36.11, something like that. Enough for second in the section. Adam Wakeling beat us off the end. He put in an awesome display. I'll show you a little bit more of that in a second. But if I were to go back to the peg, the only thing I will say is Lee Edwards was to my right. It wasn't in my section, luckily, but he beat me by £10. We were £10 clear, and about halfway through the match, he said a really good run of fish. And I spoke to him after, and he told me, lovely bloke, tells you everything. And he says, he actually caught him of not a lot of bait.
Right.
So he sort of fed 2 lines, one with a lot of bait and one with not a lot. And he says that early on in the match, you seem to catch him over a little bit of bait until later when they come over your big amount. So I think going back, if I'd have fed another swim out there with maybe 3 or 4 balls of ground bait instead of putting a load in, I might have caught a few a little bit early. So I'll remember for next time.
It's hindsight though, isn't it?
It is, but you always learn it. It's always good. He put in an awesome performance.
I'll tell you what's just crossed my mind. You put 20 odd balls in.
Yeah.
Adam Wakeling put 20 odd balls in. Lee Carey put 20 odd balls in. Will Raisin put 20 odd balls in. Did any of you plumb after you'd fed? I bet it come up about a foot, didn't it?
Did
with all
it
that
come
bait
up
going
over me wellies, didn't it?
I bet it did. I bet it did.
No, but in all seriousness, it were an awesome match. There were a few people moaning and groaning thinking it were going to be difficult.
Oh, yeah, we had numerous people ring us, didn't we?
Yeah.
So what, you're going to move it off Larford, it's going to be crap, it's going to be crap. Yeah, it's going to be crap. Good job we didn't listen, innit, mate?
£40, £50, 50 odd pound. There were 3 £50 weights, a £60 weights, a couple of £40 weights, silverfish, bream, hybrids, roach, skimmers, middle of January, all on the pole.
Fantastic
Awesome.
fishing. Fantastic fishing.
And I've got a little snippet of the winner. He won my section. He won the match overall with £66 of silvers. Here he is weighing in, Adam Wakeling.
£50, yeah. 150, isn't it? Yeah, just do half of them then, mate. First weight. £25.3.
£25.
Oh, steady on. Awesome.
Well done, Adam.
Top weight up, mate, today. £41 exactly.
Yeah, lovely.
Well, here we had Adam Wakeling. He's won the section today. What weight did you have, Adam?
£66 from it.
Well done, mate. Get him back. Awesome. Well, I'm here with round 4 of the Preston Innovations pole fishing pairs winners, Adam Wakeling and Des Ship. And as you'll probably know if you've been watching the videos, it's not a strange thing for us all to be studying because you've won 3 out of the 4 rounds, boys, haven't you?
We're very lucky, mate. We're very lucky. You know, just to win one of these rounds is a result. But
Well, you haven't just been winning the rounds, Adam. You've won the match again today. Is that 2 of the matches that you've won?
He's drawn peg, hasn't he?
I've drawn the pegs today,
He's drawn the
which is Adam's been drawing. But I thought
You've still got to catch
well,
him.
you've still got to catch him.
him.
That's right, mate. Yeah.
Well, I'll start with you, Des. How have you caught today? Where have you drawn? How have you caught?
I've drawn peg 38 on Orals, obviously at Woodlands View. A good area, to be honest, Matt. When I used to come here years ago, that was always a good area for silvers. To be honest, I've caught most of my fish at 14.5 metres on worms. Just put neat worms in, nothing with it, just you know, just minced up worms. And I've caught little bits of worms. I've caught some roach, some skimmers. I've had my PB perch today, which
Really?
went
How big?
£4.2.
Oh my
Huge.
lord.
So I've had another one, probably £3. I've put a blubberworm line in front of me, and I've also had a spell of I've had some quality fish on blubbering, bunches of blubbering, like 6-8 blubbering, where I just put joker in lean, and just I had 2 spells really of catching quality, and I've just kept putting fish in the net, roach, little hybrids, and I've had bites all day. It's been good. Pinkies, maggots.
Fantastic
Bit of
day
everything.
fishing.
Yeah, great day.
Brilliant,
Great
well
day.
done, mate. Now you devil, you've been in my section, haven't you? You gave me
Sorry.
a right seem to. But
MPEG.
like,
Yeah, we sent back.
it don't matter. Tell me how you've caught.
MPEG. Just decided to fish one line. There was, I think, the peg next to or next but one won the match
Right.
last weekend. Skimmers. So I've just fished for them one line. Thrown some balls in. Caught some roach to start with on bloodworm. Then I've caught a skimmer, and then basically I've just switched and fished big bunches, bigger up, big bunches, bigger float, and just fished for them. Caught 50 skimmers.
Fantastic. You had a lovely net of fish.
Yeah,
didn't
lovely,
you?
great days.
What weight did you have? £67 nearly.
60, yeah, 66.3.
So it's beginning of January, 60 odd pound of
Oh, it's
silver.
been brilliant.
Lovely.
Great
Well,
days.
well done once again, boys.
Cheers, Matt. Thank you.
So, on to Sunday's match, Thomas.
Yes, it was the CIPS International Rules League at Makins, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And we both fished for our respective teams. You for Drennan Barnsley Blacks, and me for Matrix Dynamite Trentman. And what a lovely day's fishing. Well, I'd love to say I had a lovely day's fishing. I had a lovely day's
Sat by the bank.
sat on the bank by the water with the sun shining down on me. I've got to admit, Matt, I drew a peg, and when I drew it, I thought to myself, and this isn't like me, as anybody who knows me will tell you, I'm a very positive person.
Mr. Positive, aren't you,
Yeah,
mate?
but I thought to myself, there's an 85% chance I will blank off this peg.
You actually rang me and told me that an hour into the match, didn't you?
I said to you, did I, what do you think will happen to me here today?
What did I say?
I think you'll blank. The reason is, Lake 2 at Makins, it's got a shallow bank and a deep bank.
Yeah.
But it's also got like an island. It's sort of a curved shape. So,
A bit like a lady. Curved like a lady.
but yes, so it's sort of a curve. And in the widest part of the curve, obviously, you've got more room, more water. And with it being so cold overnight and so cold these last few days, I just felt that where I was in the narrow corner where you sort of hemmed in a bit, I hadn't got as much chance of catching me. I didn't really fancy catching anything. And I wasn't far wrong, to be honest. I didn't have a bite on the long pole where I was sort of set a trap for skimmers. I got nowhere to chuck a slider or a waggler because I'd got an island about 25 metres away, so it was like, And I don't know, it was a really difficult decision as to what to do, but I thought my best chance was to feed a nice amount of lean with just a little bit of jokering, because obviously lean was just a carrier, it doesn't have anything in it, but it does make a nice cloud as it goes in, so I chucked some lean in at the start, which I hoped to draw some fish in, and then I fed just a couple of really rich balls, a joker, a bit of bloodworm, and just sat over the top pretty much all day with 2 bloodworms, 3 bloodworms, a bloodworm and a pinky, alternating on the hook. I never had a bite on that line. Luckily for me though, I did manage to muster a fluky perch, which I caught fishing down to some tree roots to my left with a 4x14's rig, a caster rig, from a long line. I didn't actually think I'd get a bite down this edge because when I actually dropped my rig in there, it was about 2 foot deep at the most. I thought I'm not going to get a bite there. But I decided halfway through, I was that bored and my flask were getting empty. Started chucking a few pinkies down there. And I thought, I'm just going to show them a caster rig up and try it. And I did, and I caught a perch. Oh my God, I've been missing a trick. There's loads of perch by these roots. I'm going to catch them. So I set up a proper 3B8 rig for these perch. I never had another bite. It was obviously a lonely perch. It looked quite diseased actually. I think it had gone there to die, but it decided to have one last pink, and I did manage to catch it. But that was actually good enough, believe it or not, for third in my section.
Proper team performance.
I wouldn't go that far. Proper fluky performance, 1 perch. But in total, in my section of 5 anglers, there was 5 fish caught. Matt Derry had a perch 10 ounce. I had a perch 2 ounce. Nigel Bull and Richard Timola both blanked.
No.
And then the section was won by the gentleman to my left. I can't remember his name. Lovely, lovely lad from Sensas Black Country. He put in a great performance. He got a tension of perch and he won the section. And that was it. You, however, put on a brilliant display.
I was actually opposite you, wasn't I?
In the wide part of the lake, where all the fish were.
Well, you say where all the fish were, Thomas. You know, 2 hours into the match, the whole of my section was actually blanking.
Yeah.
And at the end of the match, in my section, there was only I caught a few fish, but other than that, there was only 2 other fish caught in my section. There was Sean Ashby on the end peg, had a perch. Nathan Hughes next to him had a perch. Poor old Cy Willsmore didn't have a bite. I managed to catch a few breams.
Tell them what you did there, because the way you caught was awesome. I thought, I'm not just saying
Did you
this.
like it?
I don't like bigging you up. You know, I don't really like you. I'd rather not say anything good about you at all. But what you did was one of the finest displays of angling I've seen for a long time.
Because people generally don't catch on floating bread in January, do they?
Stop it. Tell them the truth. Tell them the truth.
Well, I wouldn't say it was good. I think it was more of a desperation ploy. Right, everyone were blanking in the section. It's only a 4-hour match, international rules. And with nothing to lose, I thought I'm going to do something a bit different. And I actually got up, set a waggler rod up during the match, cast it out, plumbed it up and stuff. You can sort of 30 yards away, there's an island. So I plumbed it up about 8 metres off the island, something like that. Fired 20 little balls of ground bait in with a normal catapult, so I forgot my ground bait catapult. Left it for sort of 20 minutes or so, come back on pole, no one had a bite still. And then when I've gone out on the waggler, I thought, I'm sure I had an indication then. Like a little dip as my float was tripping through. Cast it back out again, it's gone under, wallop, 3-pound bream. So that were nice, I could chill out for a little bit then. But the wind got up then and I couldn't cast my waggler to where it was properly. So I actually got up again and I got a slider rod ready to go in my bag. And I put a slider on, obviously it's a lot heavier, you can cast it out easier and your weight's down on the bottom so your float stays where it is. And in the last hour of the match I caught another 5 big skimmers and bream for weight of £13 11 ounce, which was enough to clearly win the section. I think Nathan Hughes' perch, he was the next best weight with £1.14, so that's how hard it was. It was really, really difficult. But I think, to be honest, Tom, there were a big gap in the islands to my left, and luckily the guys to my left didn't feed a waggler line.
Yeah.
So I think what's happened is when I've fired them balls in, them bream have come out of that gap and come round to me, so we're lucky in that sense. But
it was I think it was a brilliant display.
I enjoyed it.
But our teams actually didn't do too badly.
They did very well, didn't they?
We weren't going to beat the runaway winners, Kamazan Starlet's B team. They won the first round and they won the second round. They're doing ever so well. So, not quite sure why they're the B team. I think maybe there's a cause to say that the B team is the new A team.
It's true, isn't it?
Yeah. But Jen and Barnsley, you were second, weren't you?
Yeah.
You obviously won your section.
Yeah.
What were the results?
James Dent was second in his. Andy Power was second in his. And Alan Scotthorne and Lee Carey both came third in there. So nice, pretty consistent team performance.
Brilliant performance. Brilliant. And for our lot, Tom Potter won his section.
Well done,
brilliant
Potter.
display.
Hey, he did well on Saturday as well. He's had a good weekend.
He's a lovely lad, isn't he?
Yes, his missus brought me a cup of coffee around, Saturday.
Katie Lockhart.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. So yeah, he won his. Stu Burdekin, he won his. Obviously I was third in mine. Lee Wright was fourth in his section, and poor old Ricky drew an absolute no-hoper of a peg, Ricky Marshall. I really felt sorry for him. He came fifth in section, but he couldn't do anything else from there. Terrible peg. And we ended up joint third on the day, so not too bad a day for the two teams either, is it?
Awesome.
So, all that leaves us to do now is let you enjoy this interview with Sunday's winner, Des Ship. We're getting a little bit sick of interviewing this man, aren't we?
Oh, he might as well have his own channel with us,
He might as well, but seriously, what an awesome guy.
Incredible angler.
What a lovely bloke as well,
Yeah.
And such a what's the word for it? An example to us all, isn't he?
Yeah, proper sportsman as well.
Enjoy this, folks, and we'll see you next week. Well, for the second time this weekend, I'm here with the champion on the day, Des Ship. Although Adam won yesterday, actually, didn't he? But
He did,
you were pairs champions, weren't you? You let him have a go, didn't you?
I did, yeah. I let him have a go yesterday.
Well done, mate. What you had and how have you caught?
I've had a fantastic day, Tom. Obviously, I've drawn where the roach have been today on Lake One at Makins. What I've done, the wind's been okay for us. It's been sort of right to left, as obviously you can see on the film. It's been very cold. What I've done, I've balled it with only put 5 balls in loose with a lot of hemp in it. Got a whole tin of hemp in them 5 balls. A little bit of joker, a few casters, and I potted in 8 balls of the same mix. And the mix I've used is just I've used a bag of Sonia Bates Lake. I've used a bag of Big Roach, and then I've put 6 points of soil with it. Nice and simple. Basically, I've potted in 10 balls with 250ml of joker in it, and a few more casters, not loads of casters, and just started fishing, and this took me 40 minutes to get a bite. and I've started fishing 4 inches off the bottom with double bloodworm. Tried maggots now, but nothing. No one's caught anything. The only guy who caught was the bloke on the end peg. He's actually,
And that's up there, is it?
yeah, he's caught some fish right at the start. No one's really caught. There's a few fish being caught on the far side, and me and Alan, I've been next to Alan, and we've not had a bite for like 45 minutes. All of a sudden, I've seen Alan catch a fish, and then literally 10 minutes later, I've caught my first fish. And to be honest, it's just been a bite of chuck for the rest of the match. I've started, like I said, 4 inches off the bottom. Then I've had a real good spell of that. I've caught fish up to sort of 12 ounces, just on double bloodworm, like I said. And as I started missing a few little indications, I went down, fished 2 inches over depth, and I've just had a fantastic day, mate. I've ended up with 32 pound of roach. You know,
Doesn't get much better than that, does
it's
it?
not. I've been very lucky. Obviously, some of the lakes have been really, really tough today, and you know, as we know, if you've got to draw where the fish are, and
You've got to catch them as well, though,
you've got
mate.
to catch
They don't
them,
jump
Tom.
in the net.
No, they
yes?
don't jump in the net. I've had a fantastic day. Just a bit unfortunate that some people have struggled.
Well,
But it
that's
could
fishing.
be me next time.
That's fishing. Well done
So,
again.
cheers, Tom.